On September 11, 2001, the United States was rocked by the attacks on the Twin Towers in New York City. Now, 15 years later, the country still feels the impact. On Friday, the city of Richmond held a memorial service to remember the sacrifices made that day.
You raised me up so I can stand on mountains.
It's a day in history that will never be forgotten. At 8:45 a.m., the North Tower was struck by a hijacked plane out of Boston. 18 minutes later, the South Tower was struck by a second plane. 6 hours from Ground Zero, bells rang earlier today in Richmond as city officials and residents joined together at City Hall to thank and remember those lost in these attacks.
Today is a day when we celebrate true service people who put their lives on the line every day, that we might have the benefits and joys of living with the comforts we have.
September 11th, a moment in time that lives in infamy for Americans, but the significance was felt throughout the world.
I think everybody remembers that day like it was yesterday. It's one of those seminal events in everybody's life to remember what happened, where you were that day.
Former active duty British officer Rob Lawrence remembers those difficult moments vividly.
We watched the tragedy unfold in front of us, and of course, being in the British military, being allies of the United States, we immediately went to work in order to fight the global war on terrorism straight away.
But a day riddled with heartache also brought the country closer together.
God shed His grace on me.
At today's event was the Voice finalist and Richmond native Evan McKeel, who, although was young at the time of the attacks, remembers that one thing in particular.
That's what I remember so much was, like we've talked about today, such a unity that came and such a tightness where a lot of the things that can divide us normally didn't matter.
Richmond's Mayor Dwight Jones spoke to the crowd with one defining message.
That we will always remember how great our country is. We will always remember how valiant the responders were who put their lives on the line to save individuals on that fateful day some 15 years ago.
You raised me up to walk on stormy seas.
September 11th certainly isn't an easy day to remember, but it most definitely is a day we will never forget. On your side, Nick Conigliaro, NBC 12.